Hinata Shoyo and Kenma Kozumin are opposites. Hinata explodes with energy, the type of player who runs headfirst into every situation, relying on his stamina to keep going. Kenma is reserved and calculated, never using more energy than he has to. Hinata's longing to score every point makes him the perfect decoy for Karasuno, while Kenma's ability to analyze a game state and make adjustments make him the perfect brain for Nekoma. Both players are essential to their team's style, even though neither are the best player on the team. You wouldn't think that these polar opposites would create a close connection with each other, but their rivalry is the core of Karasuno and Nekoma's long-awaited tournament match, a match that solidifies their rivalry as one of the most impactful in all of anime and manga. If you are new to Annie Essays, here we are all about overanalyzing anime and manga. Each video on the channel is created under the belief that anime, same as literature and film, is worthy of in-depth analysis. If you enjoy this video, then consider supporting my Patreon, link below. There are few elements in anime as euphoric as a rivalry done well. Two characters or groups who find themselves on opposing sides fighting for the same goal has led to some of the most memorable dynamics in the medium. Rivalries like Sanji vs Zoro, Naruto vs Sasuke, and Goku vs Piccolo have defined a generation of anime fans, and that is just to name a few. Rivalries as a storytelling device almost always hits, as the friendly competition creates compelling drama and allows for unique character growth. This storytelling trope exists in all corners of anime, but I would consider it the lifeblood of sports anime. For a genre that demands strict structure, character dynamics are often where authors get to shine. The soul of the matches in Haikyuu are those character dynamics, and no match is set up quite like Karasuno versus Nekoma. Karasuno has three rivals at the start of the series. The first is Date Tech, as the ultimate blocking team that knocked Karasuno out the year prior. The second is Aoba Josai, through Oikawa and Kageyama's relationship. The third being Nekoma, Karasuno's long-standing practice partner, whom they've never faced in a knockout match. Since Date Tech and Aoba Josai are both in the Miyagi Prefecture, these rivalries had no chance of lasting till Nationals, so Furudate gets clever with their development. Date Tech was the first hurdle for the team to overcome. Once Asahi breaks through their walls, it opens up an offensive-minded style for Karasuno to pioneer. While the rivalry is put to rest relatively early in Haikyuu's story, Furudate reminds us of them right before Nationals, and eventually Karasuno will have to play their national equivalent in Kamomedai. Aoba Josai holds more weight as a rival since they are the team that defeats Karasuno with their first years. Oikawa teaches Karasuno that speed is your enemy, and Karasuno's training against Nekoma is what allows them to overcome this hurdle. Even though Karasuno beats Oikawa and Aoba Josai relatively early in the series, their payoffs continue throughout the Inarizaki match into the time skip. The build-up for the Nekoma match differentiates it from Karasuno's other rivals, so much so that when the two teams finally face off, it's a massive payoff for the audience. Furudate essentially has the audience in tears before the first serve as old coach Yukai watches from the hospital room. The audience feels similarly to Coach Yukai, as we have waited almost 300 chapters for these two teams to face off at the highest stage. Even though we've seen these two teams play a ton of practice matches, something feels different at the start of this match. In the wake of Karasuno's performance against Shiratorizawa in Inarizaki, they've become a memorable team on the national stage. After defeating Shiratorizawa, it was easy to say it was a fluke. Once Karasuno stopped the Mia twins, you knew they were a force to be reckoned with. Not only have they beaten great teams, but their offensive philosophy has caught the eyes of many fans. Karasuno's new reputation changes the way they're viewed against Nekoma. Nekoma made it to this tournament as the extra team, since they are the host city, and so far in the tournament they have yet to beat any juggernauts. Factor that into their defensive philosophy, and you have a team that isn't going to win over any fans. So we have Karasuno coming in as the favorite to win this match, the first time they are favored in a game of this magnitude. Karasuno being framed as a favorite is an unusual choice for a match between rivals, but it captures the growth they have gone through, showing that even though we've seen Karasuno and Nekoma play many times, this game will be different. The first set of the match explores the three aspects that make up the core of Karasuno and Nekoma's rivalry: history, philosophy, and growth. The two teams have a long-rooted history because of their coaches, but it goes beyond that. Personal history becomes the root of this rivalry, as the players see each other grow and push themselves to new heights. This current generation feels the weight of the two teams facing off for the first time in an actual tournament, but they have also become friends with players on the other side and want to defeat them for their own reasons. Each team's dueling philosophy and identity makes them the ideal opposition. Karasuno is the unpredictable offensive force, and Nekoma the resilient defensive wall. High-risk offense versus defense that wants to stall and prolong the match makes for an ideal pairing, but it goes even deeper than holistic strategies but explores player dualities. The third years on each team mirror each other from the captain's overall quality. Suki has become an elite read blocker just like Kuro. Kenma and Kageyama similarly overthink the game and use strategy as a way to manipulate the other team, and of course the most essential relationship between Kenma and Hinata. The history between both sides and their opposing philosophies is made all the better with the growth from each team, both of which embrace their own styles totally, allowing for their best players to take the lead. For Karasuno, that means giving Kageyama free reign to toy with the other team's blockers as he sees fit. For Nekoma, it's embracing discipline and waiting for strategy to come from Kenma. Fittingly, the first point of this match is a Hinata spike that Kenma fails to receive. This play evokes the same sequence at the end of the second Aobajosai match. In similar fashion to Hinata's game-winning spike, where Oikawa was a tip away from receiving the quick, Kenma is able to read the play, but unable to complete the receive. This being the first play instead of the last shows that Kenma is in sync with Hinata in a way that Oikawa wasn't quite, and really in a way that no other player has been throughout the show. Character growth is on full display at the start of this match, with Suki being the clearest example of that. Not only has he developed into a very good player who is known to show passion from time to time, but he also raises the skill level of Karasuno. By Suki caring more, it has helped Yamaguchi become a better player, and the two pull off a serve-block combo. Growth also comes from unexpected places. For Nekoma, they start to slip in some synchronized attack, and Kenma moves around the court more than usual. The battle between Kenma and Hinata comes to fruition near the end of the first set, when Furudate lets the audience see a weakness in Hinata's game. The majority of the first set has been going as expected, with Karasuno setting the pace. With Karasuno up 23-22, it seems like they're going to cruise to win the first set. Then Furudate drops an innocuous panel where Hinata is blocking the path of Daiichi and Asahi, forcing Kageyama to set the ball to Tanaka, resulting in a block for Kuro, and the game is tied. In a moment that could easily be missed, Furudate shows us a new way Hinata can be exploited. Now that Hinata has gotten better at receiving, Kenma will target him with short passes over the net, containing how quickly Hinata can execute his quick. Nekoma's strategy to target Hinata doesn't end the set right away, but it does start to turn the match in their favor. With the game tied at 24 apiece, Asahi gets Karasuno to set point, holding his form in the air and getting a waterfall on a read block by Nekoma. Even in a moment like this, Karasuno is still going to try something new as they continue to evolve. And this is how we would have anticipated the first set to go, the game being close but Karasuno coming out on top. Here Kenma understands their rival. Karasuno goes all in every time, and he knows that they want to take the first set against Nekoma. First, Kenma baits them for interference to take the lead. Then, on a chance ball, he places it perfectly in the seam between attackers and catches Daiichi and the rest too focused on making their approach to receive a simple pass. Nekoma steal the first set 27-25, an outcome achieved by a team with discipline and a deep understanding of their opponents. For all the talk about how exciting a team like Karasuno is, their aggressive style causes them to lose the first set. The consequences of losing that set are amplified, as they are always the team that wins the first set coming out of the gates, forcing their opponents to adapt to them. If Karasuno is going to win the final two sets, then Hinata will have to overcome the pressure Kenma is putting on him. The second set starts in similar fashion to the first, with Hinata scoring. Hinata's initial solution to being the target of Nekoma's serving is to use a slide attack. This isn't an issue for Kenma though, because it is the response to his strategies that makes volleyball interesting to him, and it's the way that Hinata evolves to every situation that makes Kenma want to contain him so badly. The second set is about evolution, both teams adapting to each other from point to point. Whatever team comes out on top will have to evolve the furthest. Karasuno responds to Nekoma's strategy with brute force, getting two service aces early in the second set and jumping out to a lead. Nekoma tries to stretch the game out with dig after dig, and Karasuno simply double down, sending in more attackers. Even though Karasuno is setting the scoring pace in the second set, Nekoma's ability to dig the ball and their plan to limit Hinata is starting to have an effect. Hinata tries to go around the blockers and then hits the ball out of bounds. He's out of control on a block and gets a net violation. Then he gets stuffed by a triple block. Just when you thought Karasuno could widen the gap, Hinata's inability to be effective keeps the set close. The crux of Kenma and Nekoma's strategy is to make Hinata function at less than 100%. They assume that when that happens, it'll be harder for Kageyama to justify sending sets Hinata's way. Even though Nekoma are down 2 points, it feels like they've totally taken control of the game, so much so that Kenma laments the death of interesting shoujo. A rivalry ceases to exist when one side can no longer force the other to grow. If a philosophy changes or growth stagnates, then the rivalry dies and one side can be crowned the victor. Kenma has brought that question to Hinata. If he can't grow, then this isn't really a rivalry anymore. It's just one team crushing the other. The win-loss result of this match does not spell the end of the rivalry, but the end of one side's evolution does. Nekoma takes the lead back, and the physical limitations start to set in. It seems Hinata is getting close to a breakthrough, then he slips on the court. As the rallies get longer and the match continues, the more pressure there is on the team's physical stamina. But currently, Kenma is winning the most important battle on the court. He has locked Hinata down, trapping Karasuno's greatest decoy. Then we get the moment of the match. Nekoma has executed their strategy to perfection, squeezing Hinata and halting Karasuno's evolution. They put their bets on Hinata not being able to overcome the little space he has to run into his spikes. But Karasuno isn't ready to lose their rivalry with Nekoma just yet. Nekoma placed their bets on Hinata staying in that cage for the rest of the match. Here, Kageyama won't let them cash out as he helps Hinata break free. Kageyama takes a leap in his own evolution. He had always been held back by trying to make sets around blockers, and eventually Kageyama learned to incorporate his spiker's strengths into his sets, trusting his spikers in the same way they trust him. Now it's time for Kageyama to put his full faith in Hinata. Here, Hinata takes a leap that not even Kenma and the Cats could anticipate. Kageyama sends the ball high and up the middle, giving his teammates time to breathe and Hinata time to get a proper run-up. Hinata takes his chance and explodes through Kenma's cage. Hinata isn't just a tool for Kageyama to use, but a monster in his own right. Karasuno put the pressure back on Nekoma, and they respond with a revitalized tactic. Nekoma turn to their first Hinata stopper, Inuyoka. Inuyoka gives Nekoma a chance, but since Hinata has broken free, Karasuno are able to capture the second set on a Hinata receive. The third act and final set of this match is one of complete euphoria, where the second set was a strategic back and forth where Hinata needed to take another step in his development for Karasuno to win. The third is about two old rivals without any new tricks to play. For this set, Furudate dials back some of the internal monologues and commentary and lets the visuals speak for themselves. The flow of this set of chapters is masterful. We no longer need explanations for why characters act a certain way, because we have seen all the patterns before. We recognize when Inuyoka makes a receive, which is the result of his willingness to switch positions. We know Suki will never stop his read-blocking persistence and wants nothing more than to score a few points up the middle. Each player is not only an opponent to those on the other side of the net, but a teacher. Not just in this game, but in all of them. Kageyama has a trust in his ace that reflects what Oikawa had with Iwaizumi. Hinata finally bests Kenma by taking what Bokudo taught him and adding his own spin on it. The third set of this match is a conversation with the rest of the series. Every game both teams have played is connected to this set. Every play is a chance to grow, a chance to take another step up the mountain. There is no skipping steps, but if you take enough of them, you may find yourself where Karasuno and Nekoma end up in this set. Complete flow, a feeling of being in the moment, focused on only the next point. The entire series has built to this sequence, and Furudate doesn't let anything get in the way. You get lost in these chapters, enjoying every point until the tension melts away and the reader is truly in the moment, as if you are watching a practice match. This match becomes something that you never want to end, but there has to be a winner. No one can escape the physical pressures of playing volleyball. Stamina is a critical element of the game, and in the end, Kenma, the mastermind behind it all, is pushed past his limits. In this match, Kenma has reached new heights as a character. Furudate dives into his and Kuro's backstory, showing the origins of Kuro's love of the game and how he dragged Kenma into playing. During the backstory, you almost get a sense that Kenma only plays because of Kuro. At the end of this match, Kenma's hands slip because of the sweat on his hands. The long rallies have taken their toll on Nekoma's setter. Even so, Kenma finds himself happy because of how brilliant the game was, and he thanks Kuro for introducing him to volleyball. Rivals exist to help us grow. A great rival might take you to some of the darkest places you've ever been, forcing you to find new levels to your abilities that you never thought possible. Nekoma is Karasuno's greatest rival, but also their closest friends. In the end, that is what most rivals become. Rivalries are complicated, the definition of a love-hate relationship, and the battle at the garbage dump, Karasuno versus Nekoma, is Haikyuu's defining match. A game that pays off 300 chapters of build-up with a back-and-forth experience that sees both sides grow alongside each other. Right when it's over, you can only think, I would love to see these two teams play again. Thank you so much for watching the video. In honor of the new Haikyuu movie, I thought it was only fitting to make a video about Karasuno versus Nekoma. If you enjoyed this video, then consider supporting my Patreon. The link is down below. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.